Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing back my pumpkin carvings. I know it's been a hot minute since y'all have seen my face. I do apologize for that. However, life kind of happened and I just didn't really, I had a lot of ideas to film, but I just didn't film. Well, I've also been filming on another YouTube channel and that's been taking up a lot more time because it takes a lot less imagination to do that one because it's a budgeting channel, which is why I'm not going to pass on the information about what the channel's called or anything of that sort. All I can say is, I guess if you really want to find it, just have a look for some cash budgeting videos and maybe you'll come across my other channel. Anyway, so today I'm going to be doing some pumpkin carving. I'm sure if you've read the title of this video, which I'm sure you all have, you'll know that I'm planning on doing KallMeKris and CelinaSpookyBoo. Now, of course, the stencils, I don't make them in a way that you guys at home can read them. I make it in a way that I can read them, and then that way when I am doing my job, my pumpkin, it just kind of, you guys will see the end result even if the stencils don't make full sense. So this is the stencil I came up for KallMeKris. So I colored in some spots where I really needed to make sure I knew those needed to be left, because when you're doing these stencils onto the pumpkin, the dark stays, light comes out. So if you guys have seen any of them in the past, I've now done Sam and Colby, I've done TFIL, and I've done a Hocus Pocus pumpkin. If there's another one, I'm not thinking of it right now. I don't think there is. So that one's KallMeKris, and then I've got CelinaSpookyBoo as well, and well, I did a lot more of the coloring on this one, but it was like 3 in the morning and I didn't want to keep coloring when I did Chris's, but I know where I need to cut out and where I don't. But I think that one looks a little more like her than this one does of Celina, but I will do my best to make them both work. This will be my first time ever doing like women. I mean, when I did the Hocus Pocus one, it was more cartoony, right, than it was real, and I'm really nervous about messing up Chris and Celina, but here's hoping that it goes well and that I won't mess them up. So before I get started, I do want to touch on a couple of housekeeping things. It has been a hot minute since I've filmed the video, which I'm really kind of sorry for, and off camera I flipped a coin. I didn't flip a coin, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to say I flipped a coin to decide where to start, because I've got good things that have happened that I want to touch base on, and then I've got one really big event that's not good, and so I had to kind of decide where I wanted to start. Obviously, I don't want to start with the sad note, but I do want to start with the one note that kind of affects mostly anyone who's been watching my channel for a little while. It's kind of, it just feels like I can't not say it, because, you know, you guys need the closure too. But so on October 10th of this year, so about 2 weeks ago, my chocolate lab Elsa, she's 13, she sadly had to cross the Rainbow Bridge. It was my first time ever having to make that kind of decision for a dog. She's the first dog I ever owned in my entire life. Like, yeah, I had like neighbors or whatever that had brought dogs around me, but that's obviously not the same because, you know, you don't develop a relationship with the neighbor's dog the way you would with your own. So yes, Elsa has crossed the Rainbow Bridge. I am absolutely heartbroken over it. It's been very rough to adjust to. We still have Maya. She's still making enough noise for both of them. So I think the biggest thing is because she was a lab, we really notice her absence when we have an accident. So for example, I made dinner for my son the one night this week and he picked up his entire bowl and I don't know what came over his head, but he opened his hands and the whole bowl fell on the floor. And we didn't have a vacuum because Maya, who's an American Eskimo, is not quite as good at the cleanup as the lab was. So there's that. Next, well, anyone who's ever watched any of my vision board videos So at the beginning of the year, I typically do like a vision board or a dream board or a manifestation board, and I talk about some things that I really want to do that year. And on every single one I've done, I've said I want to get better with finances and I want to travel. So I finally traveled. I finally went on a plane for the first time. I took my son to Alberta. I did take some videos and stuff like that, and I was going to make a travel vlog, but because I had been so inactive, I didn't want that to be my video of like, hey, I'm back. So, and especially because it wasn't gonna be a hey, I'm back. My last video I did was in July, right before we went to Alberta, and it was just a quick little, my son and I went paddleboarding, and I made a little vlog while he was driving the boat. And it was just really fun. So we went to Alberta. I did take some videos. If you guys want to see the travel vlog that I have all of the footage to put together, I just really didn't want, I mean, it would be a memory, and that is what this channel is mostly based on, is like my memories and stuff. But I really just wanted to, I don't know. I was worried I was gonna put it up and it wasn't gonna get watched. So, and that's what's really deflating, is when you spend all the effort and the time on videos and then they just don't get any attention. It's crazy. I think my most watched video on my channel right now is setting up my son's fish tank. That's got the most views, and I feel like I've done some pretty funny videos, mind you. I'm a little biased. Alright, so there was that. Went to Alberta, went on our first plane ride. Took my son horseback riding. I've got videos from that as well. I'm thinking I'm going to do like a year in review video. That's probably what I'm going to do at this point. It is almost the end of October. Halloween's next week. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to bring some Christmas videos back as well, but you guys know I love Halloween. There's no better time to talk about bats and ghosts, which I have tattooed on my body, than at Halloween. And you guys know I love ghosts, and you guys know I love paranormal stuff. And I also really love pumpkin carving. It's fun. And it's the only real way I feel creative these days. Okay, so why did I choose Kris and Celina? So Kris and Celina, first of all, so KallMeKris, she is an influencer on TikTok and on YouTube. I believe she was on YouTube first. But I never watched her on YouTube. I found her on TikTok because her skits are hilarious. I followed her on TikTok long before I ever even processed that maybe she had a YouTube channel. If I would have thought about it sooner, I definitely would have subscribed to her on YouTube a lot sooner. However, I didn't, and it wasn't until she started working with Sam and Colby that I even knew that she was into paranormal stuff. Mind you, whether she was before or not, I'm not actually 100% sure. Then there's CelinaSpookyBoo, and she has been doing paranormal stuff for a little while longer, but it's been through watching her and Kris, because of course after they were on videos with Sam and Colby, they actually started doing videos together, which is great because I love watching fellow Canadians. I believe that Celina, whether she was born and raised in Woodstock, I'm not sure, but I know that at some point she was in Woodstock or in that area. That's only like 2 hours away from where I live. So it's like watching like fellow Canadians kind of make it big online is really, really exciting. But yeah, so they've actually been doing like the stuff that I've been like, I really want to go investigating. But yeah, no, I absolutely love how they are when they're together. They're really, really funny. They play off each other's energy so well. And I mean, KallMeKris just started a podcast as well. And I just think that's awesome. I think that that is a perfect thing for her to do because that went really, really well. She asked all the perfect questions, and yeah, the whole thing just went really, really well. So now that you guys know who I'm going to be carving, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the tutorial part of it. I always call this a tutorial, but it's never really like, I guess I will kind of show you. I don't know, it's easier to me to be like, this is what I'm doing now. So first and foremost, how you make the picture. In any of my other carving videos, you can see full detail, especially the Sam and Colby one, because that's the first one I did, and I go into full detail of how I make the stencils. So essentially what I do is I find a photo that is well lit, that shows a good side of their face. These photos were both taken from, I guess it goes this way, were both taken from their most recent thumbnail for the most, well, I don't think it was the most recent video, it was the one before that. And then what I did was, so what I did was I took the photo and I put it on Canva and I removed the background. So if you don't know what Canva is, it's a website that you can use to do pretty much anything with images or graphic design. And if you don't have Canva, because the background removal is a paid piece, or paid application. So if you go to bgremover.com, you can do the same thing there. So you want to have your background removed though, because if you don't remove your background, then when you do move it to GIMP, then it catches all of the stuff in the background and it doesn't light your image up properly. So you want to remove the background before you get started. And then once you do that, you're going to open up GIMP, you're going to look up online GIMP 2.0. You're going to download that. You're going to open the image. You're going to find your background removed image. And then at the top left-ish, I guess top center, you're going to find where it says colors. And you're going to go down until you find threshold. And when you find threshold, it's going to instantly take out all the color. It's going to be black and white. Basically, the black is going to be shadows and the white is going to be light. And then whatever is black, you leave. Whatever is white, you carve out. That's the basics. If you really want to see a tutorial of that, go check out literally any of my other videos. Mostly the TFIL one or the Sam and Colby one. Okay, let's get started. So, this is the pumpkin I've got today. It's probably the biggest pumpkin I've worked with. It's dirty still, I haven't cleaned it. That is the first thing you want to do, is clean it, because if it's not clean, then it's going to make, when you do cut it, the dirt gets into it and then it just becomes gross looking. It just kind of looks muddy and it's very hard to clean it once you've cut into the flesh of the pumpkin. So you're going to start by wiping down your pumpkin and then you're going to take out all the guts. So let's do that real quick and then we'll get on to the rest of it. Here we go. All right. So I've just got some paper towel here because at the end of the day, I'm going to be putting everything into the compost, or, you know, feeding maybe some of the pumpkin to the dog. I don't really know. Maya doesn't eat as much as Elsa did, so it might not be as... Anyway, so we're going to start by giving the pumpkin a bath. I actually ended up buying, like, I don't know, 5 pumpkins this year. I bought 2 bigger ones. I'm still kind of unsure as to who I'm going to be carving for the next one. Right now, the stencils that I've got made up as like backup plans. So I've got, again, you guys might not be able to read them as well as I can, but so I've got Stefan and Damon. And then I've also done Sam, Dean, and Castiel. So whether or not I end up doing those, I don't know yet. We'll get there when we get there. I like doing YouTubers is because you guys typically like YouTubers. I made a mess. Right. Okay, so I'm going to grab my knifey thing. I like the little one better than anything else. And I always like to go it on an angle. You gotta kind of figure out where you're going to be putting your image, because obviously you don't want it to be like in the background or like, I don't even know what I'm saying at that point. Okay, so we're gonna start by removing the top of the pumpkin. Now, one thing, when you're taking off the top of your pumpkin, make sure you're making the hole big enough for your hand to fit in, but not just your hand, but whatever lighting device you're going to use. So if you're using a candle, make sure you make it big enough that your candle can fit in. Or if you're using a lantern or whatever the case may be, make sure, make sure that you leave enough room for everything to fit in. Here, off. Off. Okay, so now that we have gotten the pumpkin all open and ready to go, move this a little closer so you guys can see it. All right, so the tools that you need. So I always use these little, they're just teeny tiny screwdrivers. I typically use the flathead one. How do I open this? It's a push through, right? Yeah, no? Oh my gosh, I only use this thing once a year, and I think I have the same issue every year. There we go. All right. So, how do I... So I always start with this guy here. It's just a teeny tiny little flathead, which I don't think you guys can see, but it's a flathead. Teeny, itsy, bitsy, teeny tiny flathead. Okay, I use that mostly, but I also use this flathead. It's another little teeny tiny flathead. And in not every kit you get, but in a lot of kits you can get these little pokers. So I use these as well, but for the most part I think I just use flathead screwdrivers on these. So the poker, what you do is you're going to line your stencils up the way you like them. I really hope these aren't too big. I don't think they will be, but you're going to line them up the way you like them. You're going to poke all the way around the, you know, you're going to basically draw you're going to play connect the dots with yourself. It's essentially what you're going to do. And then you're going to, the parts that are supposed to be removed, which are the white parts, you're going to pull out, and then the other parts you're going to leave in. And it's easier to show you than to tell you. So I'm going to get started. I will not be filming the entire process. I will start by showing you how I set it up, and then I will be turning the video off and kind of coming back and just kind of updating you. But for the purpose of, you know, trying to show you the best I can, I'm going to start by showing you the best I can. I'm actually going to start with KallMeKris, I think, because, well, I don't know. Let's see how things fit here. So I definitely want this over here more. I think that would be good. Like that. So there, and then she'll be there. I might need to bring her down a little, actually. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to start with KallMeKris because I don't know why. I just find it a lot easier to start on the left-hand side. Again, I want to make sure I'm center with my pumpkin so that I know that the right side's up. And now we're going to get started. I typically would cut this out a little bit. Alright, I'm just going to give you guys to the pumpkin here. Alright. So I'm going to start by lining her up where I think I want her. Again, just in case, by any chance whatsoever, that Chris and Celina end up watching this video, if it ends up being really, really terrible, I'm so sorry. Please know I tried my best. When I did Sam and Colby, I think Colby turned out really, really well, and then I just like nicked like the smallest part of Sam's eyebrow or something, and it just instantly made him look really cartoony, and I was a little annoyed by that. And I still think I might do them again just to like redeem myself. It did turn out really good. I'm still really proud of it. I talk about it all the time. However, I also really wish it wouldn't have ended up like that. Before I do this, just know that I'm the only one that's ever going to touch this stencil, so I just need to get the extra pieces off. Otherwise, it just gets flimsy and I'll get caught on it, and I don't want that. And I don't want to go get the scissors, so spit works as well. Alright. Here I go. Let's do this. I'll bring you guys in a little closer. I'll try to rotate this towards you guys. And I will bring you guys in a little closer. Alright. Alright, here we go. There's no going back once you start, so. you're just gonna basically start by following the perimeter of the photo. And once you start, you don't want to stop. If you stop, you are going to lose your place. And if you lose your place, when you're literally following polka dots, good luck finding your place again. Alright, you guys have seen enough. I'll be back. Okay, so I have finished the, whoopsies, new here. I've finished the polka dots parts for, you can't see it, but her image is now all poked into the pumpkin. Once again, you can't see it, but I'm going to, I can't remember if I usually, okay, I'm definitely going to connect the dots before I move on to Celina because I really don't want to forget what everything is and then mess up. So I'm going to start doing that. So what I typically do when I do this is I put it on my lap like this so I can actually kind of see everything. But you want to keep your stencil as a reference. So if you look at anything you're like, I don't know what just happened here, then hopefully you can figure it out. So what I do is I use a flathead like this one here. You cannot see that it's a flathead, but it is. And then I kind of just play connect the dots. So I see, we'll start up here at the top of her head, and I'm just, like I said, going to connect the dots. So let's get started on that. And once I do that, you guys will be able to see the image a lot better because the flathead, even though it is a flathead, is actually a lot thicker than the little poker. But yeah, so I will do this, and then once it's all stabby, I will come back. So we'll see you guys soon again. Bye. Okay, so I have finished putting the line work in. Once again, I don't know if you can see it. It's there. You can kind of see it. You probably won't be able to fully see it until it's all cut out. But she's done. It was difficult because I typically tried to find a more flattened sided pumpkin. So some of my lines did get a little confused, but I think I figured it out. We'll have to see. I'm not at the point of saying that if Kris is watching, she should turn it off now. I think that it'll be okay. I am a little worried about doing Celina though. I think I've figured out my lines pretty good though. So here's hoping it'll go better. I don't know why I said it like that. That was a really weird way to say it. My problem is I'm not 100% sold on the fact that this stencil even looks like Celina, but alas, I'm going to try my best to make it work. And so yeah, I'm gonna get started on that, and I'll see you guys when I'm done again. Bye. Do you want to know what the scariest part about pumpkin carving is? Is when you're using a real person's face and you are taking the chance that, you know, there's, if you know, I think about it a lot, like if this person saw it, would they be like pissed off that I did this to their face, or would they be like, wow, that's so cool? So like the hardest thing when you're carving somebody's, like some actual person into a pumpkin is like the smallest thing. Like think about how much you look at a picture of yourself and you think about like all the things you don't like about it. Somebody else can be like, oh my god, I love it, but like think about all the things that you find hard to look at about yourself. So I'm not just taking a photo that somebody has approved of themselves to put online, because it was like actually their thumbnail that I took, but now I am, you know, making it into just shadows and light and putting it on a pumpkin. And it's terrifying because although like I think that all of the pumpkins I've done have turned out really cool, there's always that one thing that I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't have nicked that so far, or ooh, that went a little bit too whatever. But like, so I'm gonna do the reveal. But I'm just like, this is the point where it's like, as soon as you actually show people like what you're gonna be working with, it's like, you know, it gives anyone the chance to critique. Anyway, so I got, let's see, you might not even be able to see it right now. Okay, hold on a minute, hold on a minute. Nope, too far. Okay, so here is Celina. Good Lord. Yeah, you can't really see it. And then Kris is over here. You'll see it better in a second because I'm going to carve it out. I just started getting that like nervousness where I'm like, this is where like if I take the wrong chunk out, it ruins the whole picture. And that's where it kind of gets scary. But yeah, so after you do your, here, let me see, maybe if I zoom in, you'll see it better. Let me just play with the camera for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, there's Celina. There's, yeah, you can't really see it. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to start with Kris, who's over here. Whoop. I'm gonna start with Kris, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find the things that are supposed to come out, so certain things that are white. So like, for example, the whites of her eyes are gonna come out. And I'm just going to take the skin only out of the pumpkin. I want my smaller one. There we go, okay. Whoops. All right, so first chunk is out and it's the white of her eye. And then we're gonna go over here and we're gonna take this little triangle out because it's, again, a white of her eye. And then we're going to take, this is like, because in the picture she's got like a scared face on, so she's got like her mouth partially opened, so we're gonna take that out. So it's basically just anything that the light would find. Okay, so this is like a piece of the flash from her hair. Take that out. So that's kind of what we do, is we just kind of take, you have to know what chunks need to come out though. Like if, that's why it's like, you know, it would be easier if I, and by the way, yeah, okay, so when I do the stencils, I personally, I know I could just print it out, but I personally actually put a piece of saran wrap. I know you guys can't see me, but I put a piece of saran wrap on my screen, and then I just put like a piece of paper on and just trace it, because that way I can control different things. Like I can choose lines that I want and pieces that I don't want, and things that I think are too dark, I can lighten them up a little. And I really like having that control, whereas if you print it out, what you have is what you have. And yeah, so that's kind of like my own preference. But yeah, so I'm just going to take out anywhere that in the picture the light kind of hits, which kind of gives her entire, like, you know, everything, like, dimension. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, so then the idea is that when the pumpkin is lit, the parts that are supposed to be light will obviously glow, right? Because the light can't get through the skin of the pumpkin. So we're only going to remove the skin of the pumpkin. Like this. And then after we're done, if the light doesn't shine through, then we're just going to take our shovel-y thingy and just scrape the inside of the pumpkin and take out, we'll scrape the inside of the pumpkin and take out a layer of the inside, and that way the light can make it through a little better. So this is what I'm basically going to do for the next little bit here, is I'm going to just scrape out the parts where the light are hitting, and that way, like I said, it'll add some dimension and, you know, that kind of thing. So I will be back in a little bit. Once I finish Kris, I'll show you guys Kris, and then I'll start on Celina. So that's where I've gotten so far. I'm about to tackle this huge piece, and yeah, so all right, we'll see you guys shortly. All right, so I finished Kris, and I actually think it looks pretty good. I'm actually not mad at it. I hope that if she sees this, she won't be either. Okay, so I will do an outline of her, but that's what I got so far. I think it does look like her if you actually, I don't know if the lighting's right. I guess we'll have to wait and actually see what it looks like when it's like actually lit up. But so far I think it's going okay. So I'm about to start Celina, and same thing. I will start it with you guys here. So I'm going to start with the small stuff. For her, I think I'll start with her mouth. I'll move you guys in a little bit again. All right. And pieces of her hair. All right, and once again, I'll come back once I'm finished. Okay, so I'm done. And if you're seeing this video, then it means that I like it enough to at least upload it and hope that no one sends me hate over it. But I do have this, well, because I do have this typical little less than usual opinion on a very old saying. You know, the saying is, if at first you don't succeed, then try again. When it comes to pumpkins, I have a very different theory. If at first you don't succeed, delete the evidence and pretend it never happened. All right, so here's the finished product. I will put some light in it in a few minutes, but first I'll show you guys the pumpkin. So here we go. Okay. So we've got KallMeKris right here, and then we got Celina. I hope it kind of looks like them. Oh my goodness, this is a heavy pumpkin. I'll put some light in it and see what happens. That's what I got. Usually before I'm officially done with it, I'll like add their names to it, and I got some stuff to add to it as well. I got some, let's call them props. I'll put a light in this, and then we'll see how it looks. So wish me luck. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I have hollowed out the pumpkin as best as I can. I've scraped the insides to the very most I can, and the tea lights I've got in there really aren't the brightest things, but it does work. So I will show you guys the finished product really quickly here. I did add their names at the top, so you can see there's Kris, and there's Celina, and there's their faces, and then we'll turn off the light. It's kind of glowy. I don't know. What do we think? Do we like it? Do we hate it? I hope we don't hate it. Don't tell me if you hate it. Tell me you love it, or don't tell me anything. What do you think? Guys, what do you think? Do you think they'll be upset? I hope not. I almost feel like Kris looks a little more like Lily Collins. But you know. And then Celina. I really like how Celina's hair turned out.
Because she doesn't have any nails.
Yeah, So that there is my Kris and Celina. So I started the carving around 9 this morning, and I finished up around 1, and then I did a little bit more work on it when I got back from my son's hockey game. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. So it probably took me 3.5 to 4 hours anyway. So I don't know, I'm pretty proud of it. It looks enough like them, I guess. I think, I hope. I hope that they can see themselves in it. Not that they will see it or care, but I was kind of thinking about like how cool it would be if Kris saw this, mostly because she does a lot of reaction videos, and I thought it'd be really cool if she reacted to this. But at the same time, it's really just sit and watch me do this. So maybe it wouldn't be that cool. I don't really know. Yeah. So that there is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And heck, if you feel like it, leave a comment in the comment section below telling me who I should maybe carve next year. This is like the one thing that I think I'm always going to bring back, because it just, I like how it makes me feel. I love seeing the end product and just, you know, I love how it makes me feel. So
do the same with Colby and her.
We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time, even though I don't know when that will be. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later. I am hoping to do some Christmas content this year. We'll see what happens. Thanks again.